This hall preserves the memory of the composer's last appearance. On October the 16th, 1893, he was standing here on the podium, baton in hand. The occasion was the premiere of the work he considered to be his finest, the Symphony No. 6 in B minor, the Pathétique. Nobody in the packed concert hall could know that this was to be the great composer's last appearance in public. It was here, in the town of Klím, that Peter Tchaikovsky spent the last years of his life. His final symphony came in a flood of inspiration. Every note was written at this desk. I put my soul into this work, he claimed. Many of his contemporaries saw it as an autobiography in music. The 4 movements of the symphony representing 4 stages of his life. First movement, recollections of childhood. Second movement, the radiance of youth. The third represents a struggle against overwhelming odds. And the final, dark, pessimistic movement, the result. Tchaikovsky considered a different title for the work. It's hard to convey the feelings I experience now. I feel such sadness and regret at the prospect of forsaking my past. Maybe that's because the happiest moments are always the best remembered. The unpleasant ones, quickly forgotten. At least I try to forget them. My father had a long career as a mining engineer, and for a while was manager of the plant at Kamsko-Votkinsk. It was in that town on the 7th of May, 1840, that I was born. Recently, I came across a collection of letters written to my father and mother. I find it hard to express just how much I was moved when rereading these. They took me back nearly 30 years. They brought back strong memories of my childhood, of the way I suffered each time my mother and I were separated. My love for her was intense, almost painful. The music I heard then stuck in my mind and kept resounding. I couldn't sleep at night. Such was the feeling of elation. Our garden was left to grow wild, then cut down for hay. On my return many years later, how I longed for it to be as it was, the grass as I remembered it in my earliest years. Tchaikovsky received little formal musical education. His father, ambitious that his son should become a lawyer, sent him to the School of Jurisprudence in St. Petersburg. When eventually, at the age of 23, Tchaikovsky gave up the law for music, his father was deeply hurt, although not a single word was said to express dissatisfaction with his son. His first significant compositions came at the age of 25. They included his first opera, Voyevoda. Regret for the past and hope for the future, he wrote, while never being satisfied with the present, is the essence of my life experience. I'm head over heels in my new work, he wrote in 1876, the ballet Swan Lake. What bliss I feel, knowing that my time is not yet over, and that I can still work. Today, I sat all day working on 2 pages. Throughout his life, Tchaikovsky struggled with the architecture of his music. He idolized Mozart, and longed to find the same blend of the lyrical and logical in himself. But he could hardly be described as lacking inspiration. If the phenomenon called inspiration was unending, he wrote, then I wouldn't survive for a day. The strings would burst and the instrument would break into pieces. I must always work if the fire of inspiration is burning within me. I owe that fire to Pushkin. Francesca da Rimini, a fantasy for orchestra completed in 1876. So quickly. Who knows, perhaps I'll lose my zest for work one day when I am absolutely satisfied with myself. Towards the end of the 1880s, Tchaikovsky traveled throughout Europe as his music became more widely known. But he was reluctant to take the success personally. In my person, attention was being given to all Russian music. All Russian art was being honored. My personality had nothing to do with that. At last, I'm home. Words cannot express how glad I am to be back in Russia. Only here, in my own village, do I feel truly myself and full of life. I love to travel. That to me is a great joy, but Russia is the only place to be. And only by living abroad can I understand the power of my love for my homeland. I am Russian in the fullest sense of the word. Tchaikovsky was keenly aware of his folk heritage and claimed that his music was impregnated with the sound of Russian folk music and even the characteristics of the landscape. Autumn is the season I love the most, especially the time when most trees in the park are still green, but a few yellowing leaves are appearing here and there. I feel the autumn freshness in the air. The older I become, the more joy I feel at being close to nature. And how much I still have to achieve before I feel it's time to stop. I have so many plans and a feverish desire to work. The thought that my days are numbered has a devastating effect on my energy. (1890) saw the first performance of the opera Queen of Spades, based on a story by Pushkin. As long as I am busy writing music, time passes so easily. But as soon as the work is finished, I feel great nervousness and dark melancholy. These dark moods seem to get worse as I get older. I realize that work is my only refuge from this torture. Something is taking place inside me that I don't understand. Some kind of weariness of life, disenchantment, sometimes terror or anger, but at the same time, an overwhelming drive to compose. The influence of my country and the fashions of the age in which I have lived have been of overwhelming importance. I am as my Creator made me, and as circumstances shaped me.